Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie. Sorry, I have to speak really quietly because it's already 1 a.m. in Hong Kong and my parents had already fallen asleep, but I don't want to wake them up. Yeah, so the story I'm gonna talk about, it's between me and my boss because I'm currently one of the shareholder in an AI company, and our main business, it's about AI medical consultants, and we have an app which called Your Health AI, which you can really download it on Apple Store and Google Play. So, which means whatever you use, an Apple or Android phone, you can both use that. So, this app is basically for some undeveloped country and America, which have a really expensive medical service. And for the undeveloped country, I don't think their medical service is that helpful. And also for this kind of countries, if they go to hospital, they have to line up for a really long time to see the doctors. And also for America, their medical service is so expensive. I don't think everyone in America can afford it. Yeah. So they can basically hardest level. If it's like really difficult, as he's supposed to tell me, I wish he can tell me like 3 months earlier before the deadline. And if it's not too difficult, but at least 1 month between, like before the deadline. And for some other job, it's at least half a week, like 2 weeks earlier. Yeah, but like he didn't discuss with me at all, and he didn't ask me anything about the work, and he didn't ask me any about this opinion. He just settled the deadline by himself and let me know 5 days earlier. And I feel like it doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to be in that way, but for he, like, if we consider about his, like from his version, it kind of makes sense too, because he's like, after I told him about this, he set a new deadline for me. And also, if and I didn't ask anything about the new date of the date of the new deadline. And like all the time he talked to me in a really nice and understandable attitude. Yeah, so like at this point he just feel like, oh, I already like extend the deadline, but you still cannot finish it. He just doesn't feel good because like his stuff just didn't finish and follow, like didn't do what he need. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like all of this problem is because the communication. Yeah, I should I should ask him about like the clearly date of the new deadline instead of just taking the no rush. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we should just discuss more. If he can discuss with me before he set up the deadline, and I can discuss with him before he make the new deadline, that would be really nice. So I feel like communication is really an important thing between doing work. Like most of the problem doing work, it's all because communication. Like if you and your teammate and your manager, your supervisor or something can discuss in a really nice way, then it can mostly fix most of the problem doing work. Yeah, that's the story I'm gonna talk about today. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so this is a situation. I wouldn't say it's a conflict, but it's like more of a something that happened between me and my two very close friends here at university. So this was in the second semester of our first year, so we were all freshmen. And let's call my friends S and N. So for more background information, uh firstly, S and me, both of us are able to handle our stress and handle pressure better than N was. And N, as in high school, in her friend group there, she was the youngest and she's used to everyone taking care of her or like accommodating her more than the rest, more than me and S did, because this was no longer the case. She was no longer the youngest, nor did she need to be babied in that group. So, yeah, and it was a big change for N, and she didn't know how to respond or how to react well. So at that time period, she was quite hypersensitive, I would say. Like, she was sensitive to a lot of things, and especially like negative emotions or stress or pressure, stuff like that. And for another background context, like information situation, so before this actual like conflict or that happened, there was a couple times where I was hanging out in N's room. So we were just chatting, talking, maybe having like boba or just playing together, like either games or something. And then she would hear footsteps pass like through the door, because it's quite, the walls are pretty thin and you can hear what's going on outside, like in the corridor. So she would hear footsteps and she would pause, drop everything. She'd maybe like just pause a video or like stop talking or tell me to stop talking so she could go and hear what's going on outside. And if she like recognized those footsteps to be S, which is our other friend, she would text her being like, "Oh, did you just get back? Like, do you want to come in and hang out with us?" Which, honestly, that's fine in the beginning, right? But then it started to happen more often, and it also happened when maybe it was like 10, 11 p.m. because S might be out with her boyfriend eating dinner or something or watching a movie. So sometimes she did come back later. But N would still text her being like, "Oh, I heard that you just got back." But as at this point, it's only the second semester, like halfway through the second semester of our freshman year. So we aren't technically very close to each other. So we were like, me and S, we kind of felt that like our privacy was kind of like breached. Well, it's not that serious, but like we just had less privacy, which is something that we didn't like. And so yeah, that. And like sometimes I would be with S and I would go to her dorm. We all three hang out in S's dorm too, but it's just sometimes maybe I'll go with her because we went to like the laundry downstairs, to the gym, something like that. We'd come up together and then hang out in her room. And so then she decided to like call us. She was like, "Hey, I saw on Snapchat that your location is there. You guys are outside at Ingtai, which is the mall. You guys are outside together. Why didn't you call me?" But because we went out to study and she did affect our focus, we didn't tell her, right? But she, well, I kind of understand it, but she felt left out and she felt like we didn't want to be with her. So that was like something that she was quite upset about for like maybe a week, or like finals week and like slightly after. So, well, we didn't know what to do because, of course, firstly, you should focus on your own studies because it's finals and that affects your GPA, all of that, and your grades. But like, we also didn't tell her. Like, I feel like maybe if we all talked about it, then this problem wouldn't be an issue. But because we were younger back then, and like, yeah, so we decided to just go. And we didn't think that she would look at our Snap locations. She wouldn't like all of that because we were quite uncomfortable from the fact that she was listening to our footsteps, like actively trying to decipher who it is outside. So we were really uncomfortable in that situation. And also we needed to study, and well, we needed someone to kind of supervise. We needed that so that we make sure none of us are slacking off, the both of us, me and S. So that's why we went out. But so because of this, we kind of had, it was like bad energy around that time. But after all the finals and assignments, they were all submitted and everything was done, we sat down to talk about it, and we kind of like, well, it's definitely past that now, but we had to sit down and like talk and just make sure everything was okay. Because from our side, me and S, we were really uncomfortable with the kind of like constant supervising over us, or like, put it in like something that sounds bad. It kind of felt like she was stalking us, even though she is our friend. But from her side, she said that she was hurt that we didn't tell her. And like, she wanted to be with us there together, but she felt really hurt that we decided to leave her out. So, yeah, that was something that happened in the second semester, and well, that was all the way back in freshman year, and now I'm a senior. So, it's been a long time, and the three of us are still really close now. So, yeah, that was the situation basically.
So I wanted to talk about something that happened recently between me and a family friend. So at first, she asked me to help her find a place to live because she would be attending the school that I had just graduated from. So I tried my best to help her look for something around the area where I lived throughout my degree. I asked my housing agent, but they said everything in that area was already rented out except for my flat. So I asked the girl if she wanted to take mine, and I told her clearly what the situation about my house was. It's a new building, it's really nice, but when I first moved in, I didn't like the furniture they offered, so I only kept a desk and a bed. Then I helped her get in touch with my agent and even found her a driver to pick her up from the airport since I was still in China and couldn't help her there. And I was worried she might feel unsafe arriving alone in London. So I also introduced her to my friends that also goes to the same school and help her connect with people that she could rely on there and told her that she could always come back to me if she needed anything. She was very appreciative at that time. And on top of that, I left her many of my own belongings, things that I personally bought with my own money, like a vacuum cleaner, I had a pool table, and I had some cooking pots, like cooking utensils. Altogether, those things would add up to not nearly, but over £1,000. And I also told her in advance that I had planned to return in September to clean and organize my things, but because I was busy preparing for my portfolio and applying for masters at that time, I couldn't make it. Plus, she told me that she was allergic to cats prior to moving in, but since I couldn't find anyone to foster my cat at the last minute, a friend had to come and help me feed my cat at my house for a while. So there was inevitably some cat hair around, but I kept her updated about everything, and she said it was fine. So I also planned to hire a cleaning lady before she moved in so that she could decide which of my belongings she wanted to keep, like the vacuum cleaner, or if she wanted to keep any of the cooking utensils, and she said it was fine. So we decided to let the cleaning lady come once she arrives so that they could decide together, and then the cleaning lady could help her sort things out. However, her plane was delayed for 2 hours, and by the time she arrived, the cleaner has already finished her shift. So we agreed to have the cleaning done the next day at 6 p.m. However, before the cleaning lady could come and help me sort my things out, without asking my permission, the girl had thrown out a lot of my own clothes that were on the washing machine and in the bathroom because she said they were covered in cat hair and that she's allergic, so she couldn't stand it. From her point of view, she probably thought I didn't want them anymore and just decided to get rid of them. But from my side, I was a bit upset because those clothes were quite expensive. It was worth a couple £100. But I didn't lose my temper and I just simply explained to her my feelings. She felt like she was paying rent and that place still had my things in it, so she was upset. And honestly, I get that too. She flew all the way to the UK, almost 20 hours, and when she finally got there, she saw cat hair, an unclean bathroom, and my stuff was still lying around. Of course, she'd be frustrated. Meanwhile, my plan had always been to have a cleaning lady organize everything, keep what I wanted, and throw away what I didn't. And also, she could just take whatever was already present at my house, and it would save her a lot of money and work. So all she would have needed to do was to tell the cleaning lady what she wanted to keep. So in the end, there really was no clear right or wrong about this entire situation. From her perspective, she simply wanted a clean place to move into, but from mine, I had genuinely tried my best to help and plan ahead. It was just a matter of timing and communications which led to the misunderstanding.